Hi, my name is Maria, and before we get into today's tutorial, I wanted to ask you to take a few minutes of your time to complete a short 10-question survey that I created. The survey is designed to find out more about what you're looking for from the Bead Club Lounge and how it can help you more. So if you have the time, please click the link in the description box down below and complete that survey. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to complete a netted bracelet. The full written tutorial can be found on the blog beadclublounge.com, and I'll be sure to leave a link for that blog post in the description box down below as well. So let's get started. I have my materials all laid out here on my mat. I have two colors of size 11 Miyuki seed beads, and I'm using this lovely green iris color as my main color, and then this galvanized dark coral as my accent bead. I also have a lobster clasp here on a jump ring already, and I'll be using another jump ring as the second half of my clasp. I have my size 10 beading needle already threaded with a comfortable length of thread. You can feel free to use a size 12 if things get a little tight for you. They shouldn't be too bad though, so size 10 should be okay. I put a stop bead on my thread and left about a 10-inch tail to attach my clasp when I'm done. And I'm going to pick up 13 of my main color. So that's 4, 5, 6. So I have 13 of my main color on my needle. And I'm going to just slide those down to my stop bead. And I'm going to pick up one of my accent beads and, oops. Already got my thread caught here. I'm going to pick up one of my accent beads, and I'm going to go back through this very last main color bead that I picked up. And just hold on to your accent bead and pull, and that should tighten up your beads against your stop bead. Next, we're going to pick up 5 of our main seed bead color. Oh, that's a little wonky. We're 5 of our main color. And I'm going to skip 5 of the main color on here. So you can see I'm already coming out of one of my main color. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to pass through the 6th one. So I've skipped 5 and I've passed through the very next one. So that would be the center bead of the 13 that we strung in that first step. So if you're a little confused, just count whichever was the center bead of the 13. That would be the 7th bead, and you'll be good to go. And just pull that through and you'll have this little odd looking shape on the side there. Everything looks a little strange when you're just starting out, but it shapes up as we move along. So I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to pick up 5 of my main color. So that's 5 there. And now I'm going to pass through the very last of my main color on my thread here. So that's the one right next to your stop bead. And remember, your stop bead is not a part of your beadwork, so you do not want to pass through that. So just going through that very last main color bead there. Well, this project is really pretty simple, actually. So there you go. So now what I'm going to do is pick up 3 of my main color plus 1 of my accent beads. And from there, I'm going to skip the, I'll slide them down first. Slide them down your thread. I'm going to skip that accent bead that I put on, and I'm going to pass through the next bead, so just the one. So just like that. So skip that last bead, that accent bead, and go through the very last main color bead that you put on. And just hold it and pull it through. And again, you just want to hold on to your accent bead and pull your thread tight. After that, we're going to pick up 5 of our main color. 5. And I'm going to go through the third bead in that group of 5 that we put on last. So you can see here, let me just separate them a little bit for you. Those are the 3 that I just put on plus the accent bead. This is the bead that I passed through next to the stop bead, and these ones here are the 5 that I put on in the last group of 5 that I put on. So we need to count that third one just like that and go through there. Now these beads that I'm passing through, so let me just lay it down so you can see it because my fingers are kind of hiding it a little bit. This bead here in the middle that has this kind of X shape running through it, these are called crossover beads. So that third bead out of that third one out of the group of 5 is also a crossover bead. And when I continue, you're going to see that X shape form through that bead. So any beads like that that have that X shape, or even this one down at the end here, this one here, those are all crossover beads. So that will become important at the near the end, so just remember that. So from here, I'm going to pick up another group of 5. So 5 of my main color, and again I'm going to go through the third bead in the group of 5, in the next group of 5. So you just look for the crossover bead here, and this is the group of 5 that we put on. So 1, 2, 3, this one that's kind of sticking out here, that is your third bead. And we pass through that, and this one now becomes another crossover bead because we're passing through that one. All right, and again, it all looks weird when you're just starting out, but it will shape up, I promise. So once again, we're going to pick up 3 of our main color and 1 of our accent beads, and slide them down your thread. And this bracelet project is really repetitive, so once you get the hang of the steps, it becomes pretty simple. We're going to skip that last accent bead that we put on, so this pink one, and I'm going to pass through the very next main color bead here. So just like that, skip the pink bead and pass through the very next main color bead, just that one, and hold it, pull, make sure that your beads are snug against one another. And from here, we're going to repeat that all over again. So I'm going to pick up 5 of my main color. I'm just going to repeat it a couple more times so you get the hang of it. 5 of my main color. I'm going to look for the third one in the last group of 5 that I put on. So again, you look for that crossover bead, and then you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you should reach another crossover bead. So these 5 in between the 2 crossover beads right here, this one is the third one, and that is the one that we're going to pass through. So that becomes the next crossover bead. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your main color, and pass through the third of your next group of 5. So look for your crossover bead. So you have one right here, you have one up here, and the third one is kind of sticking out a little bit. So the third one in the group of 5 is the one we're going to pass through. And once you've reached the end, you pick up 3 of your main color, 1, 2, 3, 1 of your accent color, you slide them down your thread, you skip that very last bead you put on, which is the accent bead, so you skip that, and you pass through the next main color bead, so just the one. You hold onto your accent bead and you pull your thread tight, so you don't want any gaps or any loose beads. Pick up 5 of your main color, find your third bead out of the group of 5, the next group of 5, or the last group of 5, depending on how you look at it. Repeat that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and find your third bead. And once you've reached the end, you pick up 3 of your main color, 1 of your accent beads, slide them down your thread, skip your accent bead and go through the next main color bead. Hold on to your accent bead and pull your thread tight. And your accent beads will turn on a side probably, because you just kind of loop the thread. So you see how that kind of turned on a side there? That will happen. So don't be alarmed if you see that occurring. And from there you repeat the same thing over and over and over again. And hopefully the crossover beads are getting a little bit more obvious to you now, so you can see this little X shape running through all of those crossover beads in the middle. And then you have the ones at the end that are right next to your accent beads. So those kind of little turnaround beads, we'll call those your crossover beads. Okay, so the next thing you do, you pick up 5 of your main color, you pass through the third of the next group of 5 that you come to, pick up 5 of your main color, pass through the third of the group of 5 that you come to, pick up 3 of your main color beads, 1 of your accent beads, skip your accent bead and pass through the very next main color bead, and pull your beads tight, and repeat until you reach the length that you want. So I'm going to do this a few more times just to create a little sample piece to show you, and when I come back I'll let you know what to do next. So I finished a little sample piece of the bracelet there, and now I'm going to show you how to attach your clasp and end the bracelet off. So I've repeated up until we've gotten to this little end piece where I've added 3 of our main color, 1 accent bead, skip the accent bead, and pass through the first of our main color. So from here I'm going to pass through the other 2 of the 3 that I added, along with the next crossover bead. Do that first. And then I'm going to run along the edge of the bracelet and just go through the 5 of the all 5 of the last group of 5 that I added there. So it should be exiting right next to the center crossover bead. And then I'm going to pick up 3 of my main color seed beads and 1/2 of my clasp. As I mentioned before, I'm just using a lobster clasp attached to a jump ring, and I like using jump rings because it just adds a little bit more freedom to the clasp. It's not quite so stiff. And if anything happens to the clasp, you can just open the jump ring and take it off, change it out if you need to. So from here, I'm going to go through the very last main color seed bead that I put on just now. And I'm going to hold my clasp and pull that thread tight. Then I'm going to pick up 2 more of my size 11 seed beads, main color. And I am going to, let's just slacken this up so you can see a bit. So you can see these are 3 beads I just put on here with my clasp. This is my crossover bead. I'm going to skip over that crossover bead and go through the next group of 5. And what you want to do is weave your way back through the beads. Just follow the thread path all the way around and come back down and around and sorry, separate that and come all the way around, back down, and then back up and reinforce your clasp. I'm going to skip along and just show you how to end your thread off. So you just want to pass through a few of your beads, and I'm going to tie a half hitch knot. So to do that, I'm just going to put my needle under my thread and pull and leave just a little loop of thread, pass through that loop, and create a knot very carefully. Be very slow and methodical with this, and make sure your knot goes in between your 2 beads and you don't have a loop of thread here, but then somehow your knot ends up, you know, it happens sometimes when you're not being careful, even to me. And after you create your knot, you just want to pass through a few more beads to pull that knot into a neighboring bead. Now that helps to secure the knot. And you can feel it just slip in. You can feel a little pop kind of as it goes into the next bead. So you just pass through your accent bead, come down your main color, and just weave your way through the beadwork and tie as many half hitch knots as you feel comfortable with. So to attach the clasp to the other side of your bracelet, remove a stop bead just by pulling it and attach a needle to your tail thread. And you can see we have a little piece of the bracelet missing right here, this little part with the accent bead. So we're going to put that on now. So you just pick up 3 of your accent 3 of your main color seed bead and 1 of your accent beads, and slide them down. Skip the accent bead and pass through the first of that main color and pull your thread tight. And from there, we are going, you repeat the same steps that you took to attach the first half of your clasp. So I'm just going to run through it again. So you pass through the other 2 main color beads, then through your crossover bead, after that you pass through the 5 beads there so that you come out right next to your center crossover bead, and pick up 3 of your main color. Oops, I'm dropping beads all over the place. 3 of your main color seed bead, and the other half of your clasp, and I'm just using a jump ring to hook my lobster clasp into, and slide them down. Go back through your very last main color bead, hold onto your clasp and pull. We're going to pick up two of our, I keep saying accent, you're going to pick up two of our main color beads. You're going to skip over, just trying to pull it so you can see, we're going to skip over our crossover bead there in the center, and we're going to pass through the next group of 5 beads. And from there, you tie your half hitch knots, or reinforce your clasp, and then tie your half hitch knots as necessary. You can remove your thread and your bracelet is all done. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Don't forget to complete the survey. The link for that can be found in the description box down below, as well as the link for the full written tutorial for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.